called The World Wide Web. So it's the second movie review of this weekend. So yes, this is Joker 2 or Joker Folie Deluxe. If I ruined that, probably not. So this is the highly anticipated sequel to the, I think, 2019 movie Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck / Joker. You now had the new character of Lady Gaga as Lee Quinzel. Brenda Gleeson as a prison guard called Jackie, and obviously this is directed by Todd Phillips, who did the first movie. Anybody who hasn't seen the movie trailer, basically this follows on from the first film, and this is essentially the court process of Arthur Fleck trying to amount a kind, or having a lawyer who's trying to do a defence for him, and then him going to court and having the kind of from beginning to end, and that is essentially this. There is nothing after the credits, after the scenes, and this is a very different movie to the first one, I will put it that way. So let's get spoiler warnings up and let's get into it. So this movie starts with Warner Brother animated cartoon, kind of reminiscing back to the first movie. It kind of shows he's being possessed by his shadow, but not. It's very olden style Warner Brothers. Really was confused why it was even put in there, but it is what it is. Then the film opens up to Fleck. He is in Arkham, so we have a new tie-in to the whole Gotham Batman world that we kind of had teased at the very first movie. He is a patient. He gets on with the guards by kind of telling them jokes, specifically Brendan Gleeson's character Jackie. They kind of, if he does silly stuff, he gives Arthur Fleck, the Joker, a cigarette. In between him going for his kind of attorney meeting, he walks past a different ward, and this is where you meet the Lee Quinzel character, who's in the musical side of things. He goes, he talks to her. They try to do footage to show that he's mentally insane and that it's Arthur Fleck and the Joker persona. As this is kind of, saying this then starts off the whole singing thing, because that's where the Lady Gaga character is, and there are songs throughout. I will not go into what the songs are and stuff like this, but I may mention them. Anyway, Arthur Fleck's character comes back, and then obviously starts interacting with the Lady Gaga character to the point of she sets a fire and they try to escape, but not. She then discharges herself, saying that basically she's going to root for him on the outside at this point. Arthur Fleck is in prison, believing that he's now in love with the Lee Quinzel character, who then says she's pregnant. His defense attorney is basically saying this is wrong, you shouldn't have her there. He's kind of very obsessed, and then we go through the whole court process, and there's people outside, and day by day that he goes and these traumatic things kind of come. He has a lot of people behind him, and he kind of plays more into the persona as time goes on, leading up to the point him actually defending him, sacking his lawyer, defending himself dressed as the Joker, being very forthcoming, up until the point it kind of leads you into a final monologue that he just says, look, I can't keep this up anymore. I'm kind of ashamed. I don't know whether this is a ploy to get himself off. As he's doing his talk in front of the lawyers or something, Harley Quinn's character goes off, or Lee Quinzel's character goes off, and then kind of as he's going through the monologue, there's a massive explosion. Robbers over, there's been a car bomb outside. Arthur Fleck stumbles to his feet, kind of crumbles out. I forgot to also mention his defense attorney against him is, funny enough, Harvey Dent, who gets half his face damaged in this explosion. As Arthur Fleck gets out, to a person dressed as Joker, who's obviously found, sees him, grabs him, throws him into his car of his mate, and then they try and drive him away. They hit kind of a traffic jam that Arthur Fleck then gets out, tries to run away, and this is where the police try and chase him. You've seen the trailer where there's 3 people and one of them gets hit by a car, blah, blah. He runs off, runs back to the stairs where he meets Harley Quinn, or Lee Quinzel, whatever you would want to call her, and he's basically saying, I did it all for you, we can go away, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, you gave up on yourself within court, I don't want to do. She walks away, police turn up, takes him back into custody, back into the jail where he's been with the guards, and obviously had a beating and well previously that you've seen. And essentially one character that is loitering in the background as he's being called away. This bloke follows him and says like, oh, Arthur, blah, 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 I've got a joke for you. Tells him a joke, stabs him a lot of times in the chest, he falls down, and then you see him kind of cutting himself, becoming the new Joker, more or less. The end. There's lots of reviews outside, don't want to go into it. So essentially, what did I think of this movie? I'm rating this movie 5 out of 10. I rate this 5 out of 10 because it is worth a watch. Like anything I try to promote, I feel it's worth a watch. For me, it is very much based around the Rat Pack music of the 60s and stuff like this. This music isn't my cup of tea. I'm not a big fan of it. I didn't really appreciate it being in the movie. I'm sure if you like, some songs are enjoyable, but for me, it just wasn't my cup of tea. It's not the sort of music I would actively go and search out. To see it in a musical about this wasn't a fan favourite. The fact that cast back to like the shows and stuff like this, I have no relevance to it. I have no interest in it and stuff. So this didn't really work for me. The fact the evolution of the Harley Quinn character I thought was quite clever. I kind of thought within myself I would wish she was like that, and she does kind of go that, but the fact she kind of screws with him again, there was an aspect I didn't think worked, that it's kind of, she wanted to be with him. As you find out, she lied, got herself into the psychiatric ward, kind of got herself knocked up. We don't know if that's all a lie. For him to fall in love with her, and then because he kind of puts on a public show that he's not necessarily the Joker, she then loses faith with him. It's kind of all a very he said, she said, all over the shop. And then the fact he gets killed at the end and lies, it's essentially not the greatest story and not executed. Now, I say that great story not executed, and I'm not putting it away. Like, if somebody said, I want to make a musical about somebody being committed for a crime that maybe they were, maybe they weren't, and having a love interest and stuff, and making this into a musical, I think that is a brilliant idea. I don't think it was executed right for this movie, but I think the idea is very, very clever. Now, whether this was the idea and Lady Gaga was brought on, or Lady Gaga was brought on and they wanted to use her musical talents and that's why they went down that, it is what it is. I'm not going to do it. The story, for me, I love the first Joker movie. I like it as a standalone movie. I don't see this character as the Joker, as being in the Batman world. I just feel that he has the laughing symptom, and there are a few, and he dresses like a clown, but I don't see him as a Joker. In this one, we try to add more stuff in. The fact Warner, they have the Warner Brothers cartoon, which I suppose is a slight nod to DC because they are owned by Warner Brothers. The fact you have Harvey Dent now, you have Harley Quinn, he's in Arkham, you have all these Batman stuff. I'm like, you didn't really need this. The first movie was enough. The fact the story has the evolution of Arthur Fleck character to the Joker by the end of it. This movie is essentially, he gets arrested at the end of the movie, he has a court date, he loses it, he gets stabbed, he dies. It doesn't lead much to what was the first film. It doesn't cast you off in any which way. There are a lot of the songs that are fantasy type stuff and colour ones that it is trying to be, and I know people have used this masterpiece, but it seems strange to follow a first movie that was so great to try and then do a kind of musical, is it in his mind or is it not kind of piece. The second one, it kind of goes against the grain, and I think that's again another reason why people didn't like it. As I say, it's worth a watch. For me, I won't get it. I like the first movie, and for me it's just I'm happy with him being arrested, or assuming he's being arrested and he goes to jail and stuff like that. That I feel is the natural conclusion of the story, because he shot somebody on live TV. Where the hell do you think you're going to go anyway? Because it is more based kind of in real life. That's why he has the symptom of him laughing and something like this. And as I said, the whole idea of somebody going to prison and then getting out, that is musical. Maybe it is one, maybe it's not. Brilliant music. Just isn't my cup of tea. That's why I don't relate to that. The story, all because you can do it, doesn't mean you have to, and that's why I have this rating what it is. I mean, it's the only sequel that Joaquin Phoenix done, and I feel sorry for him because, he's done so many other films like Gladiator. I say that even Napoleon he did recently, I really, really liked him. He is a very good actor, and I feel having one role and then swapping from something else works so much more. Walk the Line and something like that. He's brilliant. So again, you bring kind of more of a comic book feel into what is supposed to be kind of a real life movie, which doesn't work. You tried to add musical elements. I say I would have gone completely better songs, more located to the situation, more common day to bring more people in. As I say, when you have music from the 60s, the Rat Pack era, the 60s, 70s, most people watching this movie, or probably 80% of them, would have never even heard of these songs. Or if they heard these songs, they're not going to be ones they openly listen to, even if Lady Gaga is singing it with Joaquin Phoenix and they are good renditions of them. It is just unfortunately, I think it's like any movie. As far as I'm aware, it makes 3 times its budget. They greenlight a sequel. It's what's happened here. I think it's Todd Phillips, has tried to go in a different direction. He's obviously tried to be a little bit clever, maybe bringing Lady Gaga on and wanted to do more music side of things. It's an interesting take. I just don't think it fits this story. I say, in the whole story movie of the first movie, this wasn't needed, and I'll be surprised if I pick it up. Who knows? I may do. I'm not going to get any special steelbooks. But that has been my review of the Joker Folie de Flux. What are your idea, if I've pronounced that right? Have you seen this? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. I haven't seen any reviews, so I'll be really interested in your thoughts and feelings. But I've been Sigma Screen Time, and I shall see you in the next one.